Hey minions, welcome to Crank It Up. I'm Jim Price, and on this episode of Action Awareness, I want to talk about and Stay Down of the Orcs. And Stay Down of the Orcs is a special ability designed to ensure that the Orcs win a base. It states, play before another base scores. If you have the highest total power here, other players cannot play or use special abilities. This used to be my favorite Orc card when I convinced myself to take a chance on Munchkin. If you're already winning, you guarantee your victory, barring some crazy ability of the base. Emphasis on used to. This card has some extremely unfortunate wording and even worse luck. Let's look at it piece by piece. You need to have the highest total power on a base, which fortunately is covered by the superlative rule, which means that ties are also included. It blocks other players from playing or using special abilities. The previous comparable was Mindraker, a play-on-base ability that blocks specials from being played while that base is scoring. But with Mindraker, specials of cards already in play could be used, powers that and Stay Down blocks. Or I should say, used to block. Orcs were dealt a major blow when Cease and Desist came out, as that rulebook cleaned up what was really a confusing timeline. There was no clarity on the order of operations between specials, and a lot of players I've talked to still think it works that way. Since Cease and Desist, the rule has been specifically that cards in play are resolved first, one at a time, with each player passing or playing. You cannot, and I really want to stress this, play two specials back to back unless they are chained together as part of the immediate rule. This is a necessary change and makes the order much more smooth, definitely an improvement. But it also means that half of and Stay Down is significantly weaker. And Stay Down is played from the hand, unlike Mindraker. This means that any specials in play that could resolve would resolve before the card has a chance to block them. But and Stay Down still blocks when scoring and after scoring specials, which is good. But this is problematic for a while as well. If you read the card carefully, note that it says, other players cannot play or use special abilities. When does it end? There was no clarification for and Stay Down in the rulebook, despite Munchkin being the first rulebook to include such a section. Fortunately, in the Munchkin rulebook, there is a void where prohibited rule that states, if not stated, the effects of an ability expire at the end of the turn or when the card leaves play, whichever is sooner. But this was problematic as well, for two reasons. Some would read this as the card would expire at the end of the turn. But when would the second clause apply? When the card leaves play, whichever is sooner. Ongoing abilities expire when the card leaves play, so this qualifies as a stated expiration. What does it mean for a standard action to leave play? Does a standard action ever enter play? Is it played and then discarded so it leaves play? If so, then the card would immediately lose its ability when it goes to the discard pile, which is nonsensical in practicality, but I have seen people argue that it's the literal interpretation of the card. But assuming you don't believe that, and the card lasts until the end of the turn, as opposed to the rest of the game, which would be insane, there's still another problem. The end of the turn is Phase 5. The card is played in Phase 3, and it's possible that another base could start scoring. Based on the above interpretation, and Stay Down would continue to apply, even though it feels like it shouldn't. Fortunately, the Big Crazy Rulebook has cleared up most aspects of this card. It only lasts until the current base has finished scoring. It's possible that specials in play can prevent you from being the highest power player, even as the active player. There's nothing you can do about it. As a result, and Stay Down has a pretty specific playbook to follow. It only has meaning against factions that have Phase 3 specials, which isn't everyone. But for factions who had many specials, like ninjas or dragons, this can be crippling. I would only plan on playing the card when you are the active player, because you will get the first chance to play a card from your hand, and can play all other specials after that. It's okay to use it on a base with in-play specials, because those effects should be deterministic. You can predict what the final total will be, and whether or not it will be enough. I also think that you should use the opportunity to play both of your Angry Pillagers. The problem is that these 3 cards are the type of cards that tend to linger in your hand, and 3 cards is a lot of dead weight in your hand. Both require you to be the winner, and stay down is great for maintaining that lead of 3 power that you'll need to activate your VP specials, so it only makes sense to play them together. And stay down also has value in addition to being used to win a base. It also makes for a deceptive way to cancel after the base specials, because the ability lasts until the base finishes scoring, which occurs after the cards on it are discarded. If you want to keep those first mates off the new base and make them go to the discard pile, this will do that. For factions that rely on getting their good minions back after a base scores, such as Grannies or Innsmouth, this will pin them to their base and ultimately the discard pile. This card has special meaning for Munchkin, as there are some powerful specials that are worth preventing, particularly the clerics. So in truth, the or use specials clause still has some merit, it just depends on the timing. I hate that it can't be used before a base scores, but I'm not sure that this would have worked as a Mindraker play on base style action, because the Orcs tend to need their actions to secure a base, and that would require the card to be played well in advance, which doesn't really suit the Orcs. In general, you should always be aware of what specials your opponents have, but this is particularly important with the Orcs. You need to know what your opponents can do and when they will be in range for end stay down to have any effect. The potency of the card has changed severely, particularly affecting only one base, so you need to draw as much benefit from it as possible. Use this card as a PSA for the proper order of Phase 3 resolution, and always make sure to check the most recent rulebook, as your interpretation has probably changed. Most of the time, it's for the better. Most of the time. Many of you haven't played Orcs because you don't have Munchkin, but they are definitely a faction worth checking out. Are you excited for this type of special? Let me know in the comments. That's it for this week. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe. Let's shut it down.